right, and I'm back. So, Disney's Investor Day happened yesterday. It was totally unexpected. Nobody really saw this coming, but we got an avalanche, and I mean an avalanche of stuff, content, announcements, casting news, and so I had to split it up in three things. So today we're breaking down Marvel. Let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
All right, so you guys remember? I believe it was a couple weeks ago, maybe a little bit more. That when I was talking about DC revealing all this news and us it being very clear what DC was doing for the future, and Disney not really announcing anything, Marvel not really announcing anything. Well, apparently they're all saving it for one day because literally everything. Well, not everything, but they released a whole bunch of stuff yesterday, and it's just overwhelming. It's overwhelming. So yeah, I decided to split it up. I'm gonna do Marvel today. I'm gonna do like random stuff probably on Wednesday, and Tuesday I'm gonna do Star Wars after I do my review of The Mandalorian. So too much stuff. Honestly, I can't tell you how many tabs I've had open on my computer right now. It's too many. It's too much. But before we get into all that stuff, let me just give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also live streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. If you want to check out this video later, if in case you want, like some kind of a visual help or anything, because I do try to put at least one image to make it a little bit more easier to understand in case you don't know what I'm talking about or who I'm talking about. You can find those videos on YouTube at Super Dario World. Like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff really helps out. So there you go. Let's get into it. So, like I said, Disney Investor Day revealed a whole bunch of stuff, and actually, there's a bunch of very interesting updates. There's the news that last week I was pretty much following about HBO Max basically releasing movies on theaters at the same time as they will be doing it on HBO Max for free. Well, there's updates on that, and I can't touch them because I'm already overwhelmed with news. Like, it's too much. I'll have to save that for next week, and hopefully more dominoes will start to fall. But all right, let's get into this because, like I said, it's a lot. So I'm gonna go through this randomly because honestly, it's just too much. I'm just gonna go through it one at a time. So first off, it's been announced by Marvel Studios that there will be an animated series. Well, a series of animated shorts. I believe would be a more precise way of describing it, called I Am Groot. Basically, it's based on the Guardians of the Galaxy character I Am Groot, and I believe this will be Baby Groot. Now, for those of you who have Disney Plus and you've seen the Disney Pixar shorts for Toy Story, I'm assuming it's going to be something very similar. However, I can't either confirm or deny that because, I don't work there, so I can't 100% confirm it. But it's described as a series of animated specials revolving the tiny Guardian of the Galaxy. So there you go. Moving on, it's been confirmed that Rachel McAdams will return for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. There's been a lot of speculation that maybe she wouldn't return for X or Y reasons. I actually really liked her performance. I like Rachel McAdams in general. I like the first part of Doctor Strange was phenomenal. It was like a legit drama. So, and it's because they have really good actors. Like Benedict Cumberbatch and Rachel McAdams are legit actors. So I'm very much excited for this. I like her character. I believe what was her name? I was gonna say Rachel, but that's her real name. Let me see, Christine Palmer. So let's see what happens there. It's always good to have a certain bit of consistency with characters. So there you go. Next, we got, this is probably my favorite announcement of the whole Marvel stuff. Well, not favorite, but the thing that I'm most excited about, and that's the What If series. So I am a big fan of the What If comics, and so there's if you can see the trailer, it shows you a few examples. Like, for example, the What If comics are basically, they ask a question like, what if this would have happened in this particular comic book timeline, or this particular comic book story, and then they write a whole storyline based off of it. So the things that I noticed is like, I believe is what if Peggy it's what's her name? Peggy, damn it, Peggy Carter. What if Agent Carter would have been, the Captain Britain, I guess, if she would have gotten the shield, if she would have been the super soldier? Or what if Black Panther would have joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, if he would have been picked up by the aliens and taken out to outer space? So it's interesting scenarios, and the beauty of it is that the potential's unlimited. You can literally do whatever you want with it, and it could be great. And it's a bunch of animated shorts. I'm not a huge fan of the style of animation, but I don't hate it yet. So, because it's kind of like computerish, cartoony. Let's just say I'm not the biggest fan, but the eye can forgive it if the story is good enough. So there you go. That, like I said, that's what I'm most excited about, because the possibilities are endless, and I like stuff like that. And you don't really have to worry about continuity and stuff like that, because again, possibilities are endless, and you're just playing a. Have you ever played a game of What If with your friends? Like, what would you do if this? It's a lot of fun. I love playing that game. I love asking that question. So there you go. Next, we have the trailer for the upcoming Disney Plus show. It's supposedly a limited series, Loki. Now, this is slated to come out on May 2021. I believe this is the first one of the new Marvel shows, because from what I can tell, here's the thing. Of all the new Disney Plus shows, I believe that there's a bit of connection. Now, I don't understand why they're all coming so close together, but there's got to be a reason. There's a reason behind the madness, I'm assuming. And anyway, for those of you who are wondering how the fuck are they going to make a show about Loki, well, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen Infinity War. But in Infinity War, Loki dies. And then in Endgame, due to time travel shenanigans, Loki kind of escapes using the Tesseract. And this is what we find out what happens. So he ends up being a part of the TBA, I believe, which is the Time Bureau something. I don't know, but Luke Wilson is in this. I don't know, Owen Wilson is in this, and I'm very excited about his character, because Owen Wilson is awesome. But anyway, here's what I think it happens. Basically, the Time Bureau is in charge of time shenanigans, and I believe they kind of stole that from DC. I'm not sure who stole it from who, but the Legends of Tomorrow basically deal with the Time Bureau a lot. By the Legends of Tomorrow is DC. Now they're putting Loki there. Anyway, what I think is happening is that by Loki escaping with the Tesseract in Endgame, he created what is known as a time paradox. And now I'm guessing the Bureau is going to use him to try to fix this paradox. And while he fixes that paradox, he's going to be creating other paradoxes, because that's what happens when you mess with time. So that's my speculation. The point is, the show looks great. Visually, it looks like film quality good. Tom Hiddleston has always been great as Loki. He's probably one of the best characters in the MCU, one of the best performances in the MCU. So I'm very much excited about this. And supposedly, this show will tie into the rest of the Disney Plus shows. It's going to tie into the movies. However, I'll just read this particular line that I found interesting. Kevin Feige, who's the head of Marvel, basically previously shared that the series, along with Elizabeth Olsen's and Paul Bettany's WandaVision, will tie into Marvel Studios' highly anticipated sequel, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so it's not confirmed if Hiddleston and Olsen or when the characters from WandaVision will appear in Doctor Strange in the sequel. So these series are paving the way for the Multiverse of Madness. I've long tried to speculate what the hell is going to happen for the future of Marvel, and I think, I'll try to get into a timeline a little bit here in a minute, but I think they're going to use the shows to kind of try to set the stage for what's going to happen in the movies, and what's going to happen in the movies is going to be, honestly, pretty fucking confusing, because they're going to deal with multiverses, and multiverse stuff is usually just a whole big clusterfuck. So, fortunately, they're doing it in more than one movie. It's going to be a show that sets it up, and then another show that sets it up, and then one movie that sets it up, and then another movie that sets it up, because there's some Spider-Man stuff in there. So I'll try to follow it, and I'll try to explain the timeline. But for now, check out the trailer. It looks really good. May 2021, Loki. Let's move on. Next, we have the announcement of the Fantastic Four, but this is going to be a Marvel Studios movie. So you know how the Fantastic Four movies have kind of sucked? So this is going to be the first official MCU Fantastic Four movie. Now, there's not a lot that's very clear. So well, the other thing we do know is that this is going to be directed by the original Spider-Man, well, by the Spider-Man Homecoming director John Watts. It's not clear when it's going to be coming out. It's not clear what part of the MCU this is. Well, what particular timeline is going to be. It's not. There's a lot of stuff that's not clear. But we'll be probably hearing casting news pretty soon. If they have a director and they're announcing it, if they're this comfortable announcing it, that means that we'll probably start hearing casting news pretty soon. And I think that there's going to be a tie-in with Ant-Man here because, like I believe I've talked about this before. The director of Ant-Man really wanted to direct the Fantastic Four, and I have a theory of how they could introduce the Fantastic Four here, and it kind of needs Ant-Man for this, but there you go. Next, we have the confirmation that Tim Roth will be returning as the Abomination for She-Hulk. So She-Hulk will be getting her own Disney Plus series with Tatiana Maslany playing the main character. It's also been confirmed that Mark Ruffalo will be appearing as Hulk on the TV show. So, and now it's confirmed that the Abomination will return for this TV show. Now, is he going to be the main villain? We don't know. How are they going to handle it? I don't know. And I guess this kind of confirms that the original the Incredible Hulk is part of the. Well, I guess it already was because it also introduced it introduced Nick. Well, it didn't introduce Nick Fury, but it tied in the whole Tony Stark stuff and all that stuff. But people tend to forget it because people want to forget it because this, by the way, this is the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, but we'll see what they do with it. I mean, they're bringing back they had to bring back the Abomination. It's one of the Hulk's biggest villains, but if they're not making it a She-Hulk villain, well, all right, we'll see what happens from there. Next, we have the confirmation that Iman Vellani's Miss Marvel will appear in Captain Marvel 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Miss Marvel, actually, if you played the newest Avengers game, the Square Enix one, it just came out a few months ago, that Ms. Marvel actually shows up there. I'm not particularly excited about this one. One, because I did not like Captain Marvel, and two, there's too many characters named Marvel here, and they're not supposed to be related as far as I know, because they have very different powers, and they get their powers from very different sources. But all right, I guess. I've like I said, I wasn't a fan of the first movie. And Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, it's going to be confusing. It's going to be very confusing. So you're going to be start calling one Miss and one Captain. I don't know, man. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they get their ducks in a row for this one, because the first one I think was just rushed and it was terrible. But we'll see. There's not much known about this movie other than that it's confirmed that Miss Marvel will be making her appearance there. So let's move on. Next, we have the confirmation of Catherine Newton joining Ant-Man 3, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man 3, which will be officially subtitled Quantumania. Now, if you guys remember, there's a lot of shenanigans that went on in the quantum realm in the first movie, in the second movie, and in Endgame. The quantum realm has a lot to do with stuff like that. It's also been confirmed that, well, by the way, she is going to be playing, let me see, there was casting news. They said who she was going to be playing. Okay, well, it doesn't say who she's going to be playing, or at least I'm missing it out. But there's another big piece of news here. It's been confirmed that it's been announced that actor Jonathan Mayers has been cast as Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang, really not traditionally an Ant-Man character, but and it's not sure if he's going to be the villain of this movie, but Kang the Conqueror is a big deal. So there's been a lot of speculation of who the hell the main villain of what is it? It's not Phase 2. What is this? The next saga of the MCU is going to be. Kang should be up there. All right, he's an Avengers nemesis, and he has the potential to be the next big bad. So Ant-Man and the Wasp taking him on by themselves does not make sense. And doesn't also make sense that they would release him from the quantum realm, because he's really much can travel anywhere. He's from the future, and pretty much he can appear anywhere. So What would he be doing? Maybe that's like a particularly important moment in history where that calls to him. I don't know. The point is he will be making an appearance, and it's honestly the biggest villain name that's been thrown out there for the next saga, unless you want to consider the scrolls. But they really destroyed the scrolls in Captain Marvel. However, another crazy stuff happened, and so it's still confusing. Honestly, I'm still trying to make sense out of all of it, but and it's not exactly clear how involved a particular character is going to be. But the big news here is Kang the Conqueror confirmed will appear in Ant-Man. He will be introduced in Ant-Man. They will be going into the quantum realm again. And honestly, I like the title Quantum Mania. So there you go. Also, I like this girl. She appeared in Supernatural. She appeared in the new movie Freaky. She's a good actress. We'll see what happens. Next, moving on, we had the announcement of the movie Blade, played by Mahershala Ali. He's been confirmed as well. The Academy Award winner has been confirmed to be playing the main character Blade. This is honest. I like the old Blade movies with Wesley Snipes. They're exciting. Directed by Benicio del Toro. The second one is by far the best, I think. Third one is eh. First one is okay. So I'm excited for this. It's not exactly clear what the story is going to be about, or if it's going to be part of the MCU. But there's also another interesting thing that kind of has to do with it, and I'm guessing I'll just tease it a little bit because like I said, maybe I can find it. Yes, I found it. So there's also been an announcement of Morbius. So Morbius, for those of you who don't know, is a character from SpiderMan, and he's a vampire. Basically, he's a vampire. He's a scientist who accidentally turns himself into a vampire. But then you've also have Blade, who is a half-breed, a daywalker vampire. The very first one, I think. And so you got two vampires that are being introduced into the MCU. One a natural one, and one an artificial one. And there's also going to be Spider-Man stuff. Will all these end up tying together with Spider-Man? I don't know, but it would be fun. Like I remember in the in the Spider-Man TV show, Blade made an appearance, and well, Morbius, like I said, he's the main. He's one of the villains not the main villains, but he's a character in the show. So exciting stuff. Honestly, I really did not see this one coming. So there you go. Next we have, let me see. All right. Confirmation that Christian Bale has been cast as Gore the God Butcher in Thor Love and Thunder. So we finally kind of have an idea of who the next villain is going to be for Thor Love and Thunder. Like this movie still confuses me. It's supposed to be coming out in theaters May 6, 2022. I was not clear what the hell was going to happen because the last time we saw Thor, he got on a ship with the Guardians of the Galaxy. And now it turns out that there's going to be a movie of Thor Love and Thunder before everything else. And it also turns out that Star-Lord will make an appearance there. So it's a weird period of time that's really confusing. The MCU timeline has to be fixed desperately. And I think that's what the Disney Plus TV shows are going to do, hopefully. But it's been... Christian Bale is a legit actor. Sometimes I have problems with them casting legit actors, like Academy Award winners for certain roles. Because, for example, sometimes they take it too seriously. A perfect example of this is, what's his name? Tom Hardy playing Venom, who the dude was taking the role too seriously. And it's like, dude, it's a comic book movie. You're supposed to relax a little. Then, on the other hand, Michelle Williams relaxed too much. Like, she phoned it in completely. So there's got to be, like, a happy medium. People who don't phone it in, like the Michelle Williams, and people who don't take it super seriously, like the Tom Hardys, that they go even too far. There's got to be a happy medium. You got to go with the Robert Downey Jr. You know, you're playing with the character. You know, it's a character that you can explore. Christian Bale, fortunately, he's experienced in the world of comic books. I mean, Batman and the Nolan movies were very serious, so they applied to him. But he has experience there. So, and as the villain, should be fun because the dude's batshit crazy. So, should be fun to see there. His chemistry with Chris Hemsworth, we'll see if it works. Taika Waititi as the director, I mean, dude's a really funny guy. Christian Bale's not known for comedy. So, if it's written correctly, I could see it being a lot of fun where this guy does not find anything to be funny at all, and everybody else is a bunch of clowns. Because the Star-Lord's going to be there, that's another clown. the Thor basically has become a clown too. Like they're just throwing jokes here and there. The big rock guy, I forget his name, but he's voiced by Taika Waititi. He's a rock, and he's a rock, and he plays rock paper scissors, haha, which is a rock joke. Anyway, so there's a lot of potential comedy there if it's played correctly. We'll see. Honestly, we'll see. I'm excited. Supposedly Natalie Portman is coming back for this one. There's talks about her character taking on the mantle of Thor. I don't know what's happening there. Honestly, it's very confusing. Again, this is all very confusing because Thor, Chris Hemsworth said that he's not planning on letting go of the hammer anytime soon. He's having too much fun and making too much money. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe it's going to be a Jane Foster stays behind on Earth while Thor goes out with the Guardians of the Galaxy, wreaking havoc and kicking ass and taking names. Who knows? We'll see. Next, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, this was announced, and confirmed by Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn. He will be writing and directing a holiday special. And I'll just read you the quote directly from his tweet. "Even seeing this here makes me laugh. One of my favorite stories ever, which I have bugged Kevin Feige endlessly about over the years. I can't believe we're actually doing this. And yes, unironically, loved the Star Wars Holiday Special as a kid." So, there you go. I believe that, honestly, I have not. And this is slated for Disney Plus and for 2022. And let me see. Gunn will craft the special during production of the highly anticipated Volume 3. Doesn't specify if it's going to be coming out before Volume 3, which to me would be the most important piece of information here. But the holiday special will be coming out December 2022. Damn. All right, so it doesn't specify when Volume 3 is coming out. All right, sucks for that. So it's not exactly clear what this is going to be about. I think there's maybe a comic book storyline about it. I haven't seen it, but if they're gonna, seems like they're throwing James Gunn a bone here because James Gunn, you guys remember there was a lot of controversy a few years ago because he got fired by Disney for controversial tweets, and then everybody and their mother was upset about this, and so they hired him back. But by then he was already hired by DC to do the Suicide Squad. So now I'm guessing Disney's like, hey, we'll throw you a bone because you gave us $1 billion franchise. So we'll see how that goes. But it's fun. Like if there's a particular I think that the Guardians of the Galaxy story, the holiday special, is kind of like a parody of the Disney of the Star Wars special. So if there's any particular, let's say, Marvel family that could do it, or that would be fun to follow along, there is the Guardians of the Galaxy. So there you go. Next, we got confirmation that Don Cheadle will lead a new Disney Plus Marvel series. There's gonna be too many Disney Plus series. There's going to be too many, but all right. Called Armor Wars. Now, this is going to be based off of the comic book, having the elements of the beloved comic book storyline adapted for Iron Man 2. It's going to be developed by Disney Plus, I'll read this here, the quote. Don Cheadle returns as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, in Armor Wars, an original series coming to Disney Plus, a classic Marvel story about Tony Stark's worst fear coming true. What happens when his tech falls into the wrong hands? Which is interesting, except for the fact that Tony Stark is not going to be in it. Tony Stark's worst fear comes to life, but it's going to be handled by somebody else because now it doesn't matter if it's his worst fear because he's dead. So now Tony Stark's worst fear becomes the reality of his sidekick. So it's not as exciting, but okay. All right. I mean, it's fine. It's fun. It's about time they made War Machine do something other than get his ass kicked on every movie. So, all right, good for Don Cheadle. But this is the point where you're like, dude, there's too many Marvel series coming to Disney Plus. Too many. And I want to do I want to do my reviews. I really do want to do reviews for these things. But if they're just having like a new episode a day for a different show, it's gonna be too much. Like my channel is gonna become the Disney review channel. Which I don't want it to become, but we'll see. Maybe there's gonna be shows that I'm like, you know what, fuck that one, it sucks. But we'll see. Next, I believe we're over halfway through, but let's see. Next, we have confirmation that Dominique Thorne has been cast as Riri Williams in Disney's Ironheart. Now, for those of you who don't know who this is, Basically, this is the successor of Iron Man. It's a character. Well, in the comics, Tony Stark mentors a girl, and she becomes basically the successor to Iron Man because Tony Stark doesn't want to do it anymore. Here, Tony Stark's dead. So let me just read you here the little excerpt that they gave us. Working alone, she designs a suit of armor similar to the Iron Man armor using materials stolen from campus and begins fighting crime herself. But while trying to prevent the escape of 2 inmates from the New Mexico State Penitentiary, her suit is damaged and she must return home and continue working on the suit, much to the dismay of her aunt. Original Iron Man Tony Stark eventually hears of William's accomplishment and sets off to meet her, and after getting to know her, elects to endorse her decision to become a superheroine. So, it looks like this is, again, another Disney Plus streaming stuff. I'm assuming that this is going to go hand in hand with Armor Wars that I just talked about. I'm guessing that the role of Iron Man will be taken over by Don Cheadle's War Machine. So, okay. All right. Makes sense. I never really much cared for this particular character because I'm not a big fan of them changing original characters anyway. But, all right. I honestly, I haven't heard any major complaints from the character yet. I haven't heard any major praise either. So we'll see how it happens. Next, we have Secret Wars, Marvel Studios Secret Wars, and here Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn will reunite for this Disney Plus series. So, okay, so let me just read this. With the two having swapped places sometime after the events of Avengers Endgame, Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn's Skrull Talos are reuniting as Kevin Feige has revealed a Disney Plus series adaptation of Secret Invasion is currently in the works at the streaming platform. So, okay. This is going to require a bit of explaining. So, for those of you who don't know, the Skrull is this type of alien that basically are shapeshifters, right? They can pretend to be anybody they want. Or, yeah, they can just They take you out and they shapeshift into you, and then they start taking control of the government and stuff like that. So the comic book storyline Secret Invasion is basically that you don't know who's a Skrull and who isn't. And it's a big clusterfuck. Imagine you don't know if Captain America is or isn't a Skrull spy, or you don't know if because they're actually super powerful, the Skrulls. And so it becomes a major clusterfuck of who you can trust and stuff like that. It's actually a very fun storyline. They tease this very much at the end of the new SpiderMan movie, because at the end there's a scene at the end where Samuel L. Jackson appears on a Skrull ship. But again, this throws a lot of stuff into disarray, because first off, the Skrulls, well, like I said, the Skrulls in the comic books are supposed to be the villains, but in Captain Marvel, the Skrulls are kind of like the victims, and in the end of Spider-Man 2, Nick Fury's working with them. So this is very confusing. Honestly, they ruined one of the best villains in the Marvel universe, because I like the thing about shapeshifters is that they're scary as fuck because you don't know who to trust. If you ever seen the movie The Thing, shapeshifters freak you out. It's like, is it that guy? Is it that guy? I don't know who to trust. So, scary stuff. I mean, Battlestar Galactica, Cylons, you don't know who's the Cylon. I can't trust anybody. So all that is great, and now they're making them kind of like heroes, villains. I'm not a big fan of it. I like the original take of them being the villains, but here it's a series that it's a species that's apparently in the danger of extinction. I don't know. Like I said, Captain Marvel ruined a lot of stuff for the MCU, a lot. But we'll see where this happens. So far, it doesn't have a writer, it doesn't have a showrunner, it doesn't have a producer. It just has the two actors here that are confirmed. So we'll see what happens. It's coming to Disney Plus eventually. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the hell happens there. I don't know. Like I said, this is already too much. It's overwhelming. It's too many. It's not sure if it's going to be an ongoing series or if it's going to be a limited series. But let's move on. I'm exhausted. I'm half an hour in already, and I don't think I've taken that long with every story. Holy crap. Let's continue. Next, we have the exclusive first look at, well, not exclusive for me, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which looks to be a pretty interesting action series. This I believe will also be a limited series. Now, honestly, I'm not sure what the hell this is going to be about. Like legitimately, this is supposed to be coming out March 19th. Oh, so March 19th, 2020? Okay, so it's going to be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier first, and then is going to be Loki. Loki was May. So, this honestly doesn't surprise me because this looks like it's going to be a very grounded movie, and by I mean grounded by Marvel standards. Like it's going to be dealing with human stuff, not really supernatural stuff. They're going to be dealing with explosions, not phasma beams or telekinetic stuff. So it could be. I mean, it looks like if it's closer to Captain America: The Winter Soldier, then it could be really great. We'll see if it stays that way. If it goes into any of the other Captain America movies, maybe it's not as great. But if it stays in the vibe of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is basically a spy movie with a superhero in it, that's great. So if they keep it there, it should be fun. It's also noted that the Daniel Bruhl, the actor, will return as the villain Baron Zemo, which is honestly it's good. Because it's gonna be 6-episode series. I'm sorry, there's a lot of info here. Baron Zemo, I believe, was not used properly in Captain America. Oh, by the way, he was the villain in Captain America: Civil War. I believe he was not used properly, so it should be fun to see how he operates here. Also, Emily Van Camp will be returning. I believe she's Agent Zero, or at this point, well, she's Sharon Carter, and I don't think she has become Agent Zero yet, but I like her as an actress, and I like that particular character. I believe, again, really underused, but we'll see. To me, this seems like it's going to be like a buddy cop, like a buddy superhero TV show, where Anthony Mackie, or the Falcon, he's like the kind of like the aloof, funny guy, and Sebastian Stan's Winter Soldier is kind of like the grumpy old guy. We'll see. It has potential, and it's going to be coming out pretty soon, only a few months away. So this is going to be basically the first dip of the toe there. So I'm excited for it. Let's see what happens. Next, we have the second trailer for WandaVision. And interesting stuff there. By the way, I forgot to mention this. In the trailer for Loki, there's a particular shot that looks like it's teasing the Black Widow and Natasha Romanoff. And so, like I said, that's why I think he's going to be moving around. All right, so here, okay. So I'm gonna try to get a few things in order here because I just saw a date here that really confused me. So WandaVision is supposed to come out on January 15th. So I was way wrong. So it's WandaVision, Falcon the Winter Soldier, and then Loki, at least in that particular order. So WandaVision looks like it's going to be a clusterfuck, but I think it's mostly in her mind. However, Wanda is an Omega-powered mutant, but except mutants don't really exist in this world. Oh, it's a mess. This is a mess. Well, unfortunately, it's a good thing that they're starting with WandaVision, really. But all right, let me see if I can somehow try to fix this particular clusterfuck in a way that makes sense. So, we're dealing with a few paradoxes here. And they're time paradoxes. First off, the one that I already mentioned, that Loki, he was killed in Infinity War, but in Endgame, while they were traveling in time, he escaped, and so he kind of escaped from the universe where he's dead, which created a paradox because he wasn't supposed to escape there. His fate was supposed. So let's say his timeline was here. He was supposed to go this way, but in the past, in the middle, he kind of escaped from it, and which leads to a completely different fate. Like I said, you create a paradox, right? In WandaVision, there's another paradox, at least from the way I understand it, because not only is Vision dead, but the Infinity Stone that he had on his forehead was destroyed. It was destroyed in Endgame. That's how the movie begins. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but the Infinity Stone has that Infinity Stone was basically his motherboard or his soul in a way. And then the Soul Stone has the soul of what's her name? Of Gamora. But since the Avengers went there before, now it has the soul of Black Widow. So that's another paradox. Because in order to get the Soul Stone, all right, in order for Thanos to get the Soul Stone, he had to give up his daughter, Gamora. Gives her up. But that happens in the future. So when the Avengers go in the past, they kind of snake the Soul Stone from Thanos, and the Soul Stone from Thanos, And they do that by sacrificing Black Widow, which creates another paradox, because if you already gotten this, if you already gave a soul to the Soul Stone in order to get it, that you can't really return that. It's not like, oh, take these backsies, give me the soul back. It's a mess. This is why I fucking hate time travel, okay? It creates too many fucking paradoxes. Multiverses, I can deal with. I'm okay with. I can understand. Time travel fucking sucks. It gives me fucking migraines because I really try to understand it anyway. So, Wanda is dealing kind of with a paradox of her own because, as you can see clearly here, the Vision is pretty much alive, but it's not. But Wanda is also kind of insane, so it's not clear if it's a figment of her own imagination. Now, here's the crazy part: Wanda, at least in the comic books, could be powerful enough to recreate what's the Mind Stone, which is the one that Vision has on his forehead. She could theoretically, because she's had the power. She's an Omega, which means that she has unlimited power, and she has the power. She rewrote the universe a couple of times. I've talked about the storyline House of M. She basically rewrote the universe, saying that no more mutants. So she completely took the powers of out of away from every single mutant, even other Omegas. And there's also a storyline called the What If storyline, and where Wanda, instead of saying no more mutants, she says no more powers. So she took the powers away from every single superpowered human being. So she had the power to take the powers from Thanos, to take the powers from Kang the Conqueror, to take the power from Galactus. It's a lot, man. But okay. Now we're going into the trailer for the TV show that it looks like she's kind of going a little bit crazy, and it's not clear if what she's seeing is real or if somebody's messing with her, or if this is her feeling let's say the echoes or the reverbs of the paradoxes that were created because of time travel. Because if you did the whole time travel thing, like, you guys need to remember this. This is kind of important. The Thanos that got killed in Endgame is a past Thanos. All right? I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay. Let me try to explain it. So, if you guys remember, in Endgame, when the Avengers travel back in time, they travel back into the timeline of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, right? Because if you guys remember, they show up when Peter Quill picks up the Infinity Stone, the Power Stone. That's when they show up, and that's where they capture what's her name? What's the Nebula? That's where Thanos captures Nebula, and then they use Nebula basically to sneak into the present. So that's past Thanos, right? That Thanos is from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. That's that timeline. And they killed him in the future, which is Endgame. All right, so way in the future. So if you killed the past Thanos in the future, that means that the events that happened from that, did they really happen? Because that Thanos is dead, because he jumped from the past to the future. And so if that Thanos has been killed, well, if past Thanos was killed in the future, which means that he's technically dead in the past, and this guy killed the Vision right in the middle, like 5 years later, then is the Vision still alive? Also, if Thanos is the guy who destroys the Infinity Stones eventually, way in the future, but he's killed in the past, this is kind of like the John Connor thing, you know, like Skynet sends a robot to kill John Connor in the past, that way he won't have a defense in the future. Kind of like that particular theory. So it's a massive paradox. It's a massive time paradox. It's insane. It's insane, and this is why I hate fucking time travel anyway. So it's possible that what we're gonna see in WandaVision is her detecting the echoes or the reverbs of this particular paradox and maybe trying to will it into existence. It's possible. I don't know. We need to watch this show. Fortunately, it seems like it's going to come out soon, a month, January 15th. So after this one, hopefully I will be able to explain a little bit more. But right now, like I said, my head fucking hurts. I hate fucking time paradoxes. Who wrote the fucking writers for Endgame? I hate them. And actually, you know what? I met them. I met the writers for Endgame, and I asked them, and basically they couldn't even explain it. But I met him in a red carpet. It was really quick, and I asked him like really quickly, like, hey, they said that if you go into the past, you can't change stuff, but Captain America went into the past and he changed stuff. Like he changed his life. So which one is the one that actually works? He's like, well, the director has particular vision, but the rules that we said were this one. But either way, it's kind of how you want to interpret it, which is a big way of saying, I don't know. It's like, it's very annoying. It's very annoying. But let's move on. Next, and this, honestly, this was the worst one for me. Like, this really grinds my gears. But all right. It's been confirmed that Black Panther 2 will not recast T'Challa. All right? Let me say that again. T'Challa, the King of Wakanda, will not be a part of Black Panther 2 because, you know, if you guys don't know, the main character, well, the actor who plays the main character, Chadwick Boseman, died earlier this year. And so Disney has decided not to recast Black Panther, which is fucking insane. It's insane. Like, I'll read you the statement. Chadwick Boseman was an immensely talented actor and an inspirational individual who affected all of our lives professionally and personally. His portrayal of T'Challa, the Black Panther, is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not recast the character. However, to honor the legacy of Chad, that Chad helped us build through his portrayal of the King of Wakanda, we want to continue to explore the world and all the rich and varied characters introduced in the first film. So, first off, let's start with the obvious. The character, what are you going to do with T'Challa, right? Because T'Challa, the last time we saw him, which was Endgame, pretty much alive and kicking. So how are you going to explain that he's not going to be there? And it's probably going to be bullshit. Now, you can't make a movie called Black Panther 2 without Black Panther, right? That seems to me. But what they're saying here is that the cast will continue on the role. Unfortunately for you guys, Michael B. Jordan, his character, you kind of killed him. Also, the movie sucked because Michael B. Jordan's character should have won. Now, I don't like the dude as an actor, but his character should have won because he won his fight clean. And the only reason why T'Challa's still alive is because of bullshit. That movie's bullshit. I have issues with it. I hate it when they do that. I hate when a villain wins something clean, but just because of writing superpowers, the other guy wins, and then the hero wins by bullshit. I hate it. Make the hero be better. Anyway, so I have that particular issue, that particular bugaboo. And so Michael B. Jordan's character is dead, and Chadwick Boseman, the actor, is dead. So what are you going to do? Who's going to take up the mantle? This is going to be the little sister. She kind of already is a character on her own right. And what are you going to do with T'Challa? What's the explanation going to be here? It makes no sense. Honestly, this makes no sense. Also, and this is very important. Very important. You guys remember how I told you about the what if? The what if storyline? You know, the animated short, the animated TV show that they're going to do? I chose that particular image in for a reason. And it was T'Challa. And I used that example. It was Black Panther with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I used those for a reason. You recasted him. Sure, it's a voice actor, but you're using his image and you recasted the guy, right? So you're already recasting him for one thing. Why can't you just recast him for the other? Like, I'm sorry. There's no way that his performance was so iconic that you can't. Like, James Bond got replaced, all right? You want to talk about an iconic character that transcends time and space? James Bond got switched out. Dumbledore, he got switched out when the actor died. There's the character and the actor, completely different things. Actors don't own characters, okay? Actors don't own characters. Everybody's replaceable when you're an actor because you're pretending to be the character. Rick Grimes got switched out the actor got switched out in The Walking Dead. It happens all the time. So watch Game of Thrones. They recast characters pretty much every season. The actor is not bigger than the character. The comic book character was there before. He was transcendent and important for his own reasons, and now you're killing off T'Challa because Chadwick Boseman tragically died. How is that in any way logical for? And to add insult to injury, you recast the character for the animated series. So, It's insanity. It's stupid. I completely hate this. I let's just say I'm not a fan of it, and I'll wait. I'll wait to see what they're gonna do with the movie. Like I'll wait to read at least the summary or whatever, or the plot points, or see a trailer to see how they handle this. But I don't see them walking out of this in a way that's smart or clean. This is just stupid. Just to me, it just looks like a bunch of posturing that is just ridiculous. So, moving on, we have the first look at what's her name? Haley Steinfeld taking on the role of Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop is a character from the comic books. It looks like she will be kind of taking over for Hawkeye because Hawkeye has now become Ronin, and there's going to be an Disney Plus TV show called Hawkeye. I'm guessing this is going to be the passing of the hood, I guess. Kate Bishop, I actually like her, and I prefer Hawkeye, or Jeremy Renner will appear on the show. I prefer when he goes into Ronin, where he's actually like more of a heartless bastard. So we'll see how it goes. It looks like everybody's pretty much stoked for this show. Haley Steinfeld is a legit actress. Jeremy Renner's a legit actor. I'm happy that they're going to bring both of them together. So we'll see how it goes. And it's one of those shows that they kind of have to keep it a little bit grounded, which is good, because there's already too much ridiculousness with time travel and shit going on here. It's good for them to ground stuff a little bit more. So there you go. Now, moving on. This is actually kind of fun stuff. It's been confirmed that Alfred Molina will be returning for Doc Ock in Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3. Now, there's actually a lot of news about the new Spider-Man, and the first one is that Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, will be returning. For those of you who don't remember, Alfred Molina played Doc Ock in the second Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire. Now, it's also been what's the right word here? It's been reported that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will also make an appearance in the new Spider-Man movie. So, again, it's all Spider-Man 3. So they're bringing kind of like a live-action Spider-Verse into fruition, which is very confusing because we already had Into the Spider-Verse, which was great, and now they want to try to make it a live-action Spider-Verse. Now, like I said, this is kind of where things maybe start making a little bit more sense. The release date for this one, Spider-Man 3, was pushed back to December 17th, 2021. It's when is the Multiverse of Madness coming out? Because these kind of will go hand in hand. Multiverse of Madness release date. Damn it! All right, release date 2022. All right, so Into the Spider-Verse will come out first, and then the Multiverse of Madness will come out. So here's a bunch of interesting stuff. It's confirmed that Doctor Strange will appear in the next Spider-Man movie. And I've talked about this a lot. When speculating what the next phase of the MCU is going to be, I said that the key component here is Spider-Man. Disney could not lose Spider-Man. That's why I said that Sony had them by the balls. Because if with Sony controlling Spider-Man, they control the future of the MCU. So they should just milk that for all it's worth. And Disney trying to bully them into a deal seemed like a very dumb idea, because from where I'm standing, Sony held all the power, because the guy for the MCU for at least Phase 2, it looks like it's going to be Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange. Maybe they'll use one to phase into the other, but we'll see. But those two are going to be the big kahunas for this particular phase. We'll see. So they're going to be trying to make like a multiverse thing. It looks like they're trying to do a Spider-Verse thing here, which is weird. And maybe that's where Doctor Strange kind of comes in. But here's another exciting thing. Charlie Cox, the actor from Netflix's Daredevil, will be back, is reportedly, again, will be playing Daredevil again for Spider-Man 3. So that's a completely separate universe. So you got a multiverse here. So you got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man universe. You got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe. You got the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe, and you got the Charlie Cox Daredevil Netflix universe. Now, the Netflix Daredevil universe kind of exists within the MCU. I remember in season 1 where they actually kind of talk about the invasion that happened after the first Avengers movie. So he is part of the MCU, so he is part maybe of the Tom Holland universe. But anyway, it's been confirmed that Andrew Garfield, Kristen Dunst, Jamie Foxx. Oh, by the way, Jamie Foxx, who played Electro in the second Spider-Man movie, which was terrible. Alfred Molina, Tobey Maguire. They're at least in various stages of being confirmed where they'll return, and this basically will be part 1 of the Multiverse of Madness. I believe it's going to be Spider-Man Multiverse of Madness Part 1, and then Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Part 2. They won't be named that way, but I think that's kind of where they're going to go. And so let's try to figure out this particular timeline here. So you got WandaVision that comes out first, which should be the first domino to fall in the clusterfuck that is the timelines. Then at one point we're gonna get Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I don't think is going to fix anything because they don't have the power to do shit with timelines and multiverses. Then we're gonna get Black Widow, which Black Widow should have some answers unless it's all prequel. Then we're going to have we're gonna get Loki, which Loki will deal with time travel, and I'm guessing they're going to use Loki to fix all the paradoxes. And like I said, they kind of teased Black Widow in there. At least there's a shot where you're like, hey, isn't that Black Widow? So that maybe so Wanda's the first domino, then Loki's the next domino, then I think Black Widow actually should have been the first domino because it was supposed to be out already. Then we're going to go into Spider-Man, whatever the third movie is called, because that's the one that comes out at the end of 2021. At least that's, if I read that correctly. It's not clear if any of the other characters from the Netflix MCU will make an appearance, like Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, The Punisher. Doesn't really matter. Daredevil is the guy here. In The Devil We Trust. Daredevil is the best show on Netflix, bar none. I don't care what anybody says. It was the best show on Netflix. 3 seasons, one better than the last. It had its issues. It wasn't perfect, but to me, it was the best show on Netflix. I loved it, so I'm very excited to see Charlie Cox back. I'm very excited to see Daredevil back in the mix. Great character. The beauty of Daredevil is that he's grounded, and so even a normal villain could make things interesting. Anyway, so where was I? Yeah. All right. So Spider-Man, the Multiverse of Madness. I don't understand what happens from there. I think again, I'm just speculating. Loki with the time travel, obviously he's not going to fix stuff. He's going to create stuff that's going to be better for him because he knows that he's going to die in the future. So he's going to be creating another alternate timeline. And I think that those maybe are the ones that are going to be fucked up in Spider-Man. And I think Spider-Man is going to cost the fuck up. And then it'll be in the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie, to kind of try to fix it all together. But the complications here afterward is like, where the hell does Thor, Love and Thunder fall? Where the hell does the Guardians of the Galaxy fall and all this? I have no idea. And my brain hurts already. But that's the news. Charlie Cox. It's reported that they're returning Charlie Cox, Andrew Garfield, Kirsten Dunst, Jamie Foxx, Alfred Molina, and Tobey Maguire for the next Spider-Man movie. But we'll see. So that was it. We got through it. It took me almost an hour, but we got through it. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World, streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. You can see that if you want, any visuals to help you out, you can see this video probably in a couple of hours will be loaded on YouTube at Super Dario World. Like I said, on Monday, I'll continue with my reviews of The Mandalorian, the newest episode, which came out today. And on Tuesday, I'll continue with the investor stuff because there was a bunch of Pixar stuff. There's a bunch of other Disney Studio stuff, and there was a bunch of Star Wars stuff. So this is in no way over. We're not even close. So hopefully you're excited for that. As always, I'll by the way, I'm gonna retest my studio again. I think I fixed it. Because I had an issue on Wednesday. I was going to try to use it on Wednesday. But hopefully you'll get the return on my Spanish podcast tomorrow. We'll see. If you see a new episode of me in Spanish, that means that it worked. If you don't, then, well, whoops. So that's it. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.